Mario power-ups come in many different shapes and sizes. I mean, there's no way you can have a Mario game without power-ups. It's like peanut butter and jelly. One can't exist without the other. The vast majority of these power-ups are great, as they can help you get through some of the hardest Mario levels out there. But on the other hand, you also have a handful of power-ups that are, well, let's just say, not so great. Now look, I love Mario as much as the next person, but even I have to admit, a good chunk of these power-ups are kinda silly. Some of them have pretty bad controls, while others are downright useless or just not very fun at all. So today, I thought it would be a pretty nifty-50 idea to take a look at what I believe to be the top 10 worst Mario power-ups out there, and see which ones are truly the baddest of the bad. For this list, I will only be counting power-ups from the mainline games in the Mario series, which means no spin-offs whatsoever. So now, without any further ado, let's go tear all these power-ups limb from limb, even though they don't have any. Wait, are there any Mario power-ups that have limbs? Not that I know of, anyway. Have you ever wanted to call Mario a blockhead? Well, guess what? Now you can, all thanks to this weird block thingy that he wears. So the gold block is basically a yellow box that somehow goes through Mario's head, and you can collect a whole bunch of coins with it. The faster you run, the more coins you get. In order to get this power-up, you have to keep hitting a block that has a ton of coins in it, until it reveals itself to be a gold block in disguise. However, not every coin block is secretly a gold block, and is not even in that many levels in the game. It even sometimes appears on the world map, and if you're standing underneath it, you can instantly put it on as soon as you enter a level. Now you might say this power-up could be useful for getting lots of 1-ups, and you're probably right, but for the most part, it just doesn't have much of a reason to exist. Plus, this power-up is only temporary, as it falls off Mario's head after running for long enough. The gold block also disappears when you reach the flagpole, so you can't even bring it with you to the next level. In fact, it doesn't even cover Mario's entire body, just his head. It's pretty much just the Minecraft creeper head mask that kids wear for Halloween. All I'm saying is, if you really want to collect a ton of coins in this game, just stick with the gold flower instead. It's way better. Okay, since when did Mario decide to take figure skating lessons? How come he never signed me up for this? For this power-up, you need to hop into a giant ice skate, which allows you to gracefully move across icy areas easier and faster. You can also defeat your enemies by simply running into them, taking them out with style. While this does sound pretty useful, there are two major issues I have with this power-up that really bring it down. The first issue is that there's no way to make the ice skate slow down. It's always moving at the same speed the whole time, which makes it kind of difficult to pull off sharp turns. Seriously, where are the brakes on this thing? The second issue is that you actually lose the power-up if you run into something like a wall. I mean, what kind of baloney is that? Imagine, if you will, going ice skating in real life, and then when you hit a wall, your ice skates end up disappearing out of thin air. So how are you supposed to go ice skating now? You certainly can't do it in your socks, that's for sure. Why couldn't they have Mario wearing actual ice skates on his feet? That would make a lot more sense if you ask me. Also, how is Mario even steering the ice skate anyway? Is there a flippin' steering wheel or something on the inside of it? Man, I have so many questions. Did you know that before Mario decided to become a construction worker in Mario Maker, he was using this digging tool called the spin drill? Well, now you do. You learn something new every day, and then you forget it later. Anyway, this power-up allows you to dig your way through dirt very quickly, sort of like a Monty Mole. You can also use it to take out your enemies when you emerge from the other side of the ground. Once again, this sounds cool and all, but the spin drill doesn't have any other use beyond that. It really only exists to be a fun level gimmick, and that's pretty much it. The main issue I have with this power-up is that there's no way to steer the drill while digging. You always move in just one direction every time you burrow into the ground. And when you come out the other side, you have to wait for Mario to spin back around before you continue moving. Also, if you hit a rock or a piece of metal while digging, you won't be able to go through it. Instead, you'll just bounce right off it and go in the opposite direction. I mean, I get it. Power tools in real life aren't able to dig through all types of surfaces, but it's still pretty annoying. Now sure, I know there's probably a lot of people who enjoy using the spin drill, but it's just not for me. Honestly, I only like using this power-up when I fight Dig-a-Leg at the end. Ribbit, ribbit, it looks like Mario somehow turned himself into a frog. Oh wait, it's just a silly costume. Never mind then. So here we have the frog suit, a power-up that's pretty notorious for being terrible, and it's very easy to see why. For starters, this power-up controls awful when you're on land, since hopping around feels extremely awkward and slow. I guess this could be useful for jumping across tight platforming sections, but that's about it. And you know what? The frog suit isn't that much better underwater either, at least in my opinion. Now sure, you do swim a lot faster and more fluently, and that's all fine and dandy, but for me personally, I never really liked how quickly Mario just zips around all over the place. This makes it pretty difficult to hit basic item blocks, and I just don't find it very fun to control. Also, every time Frog Mario carries a Koopa shell on land, he's able to run on 2 legs. Okay, wait a minute. So you're telling me that Frog Mario is perfectly capable of running like a regular human being, but he can only do that if he's holding something in his hands? Just what?
That makes no sense!
I mean, what else is there to say about this power-up? He's a flippin' frog for crying out loud. I guess if you really like frogs, then the frog suit is for you. Otherwise, don't even bother with this power-up. It's just not worth it. What's this? Another power-up for Mario 3D World? Well, I guess 2 power-ups from the same game were gonna show up on this list at some point. The light box is kind of similar to the gold block, except instead of giving you coins, it helps you see through dark areas in a level, especially ghost houses. It can also poof away boos if you point your light at them for long enough. Geez, what do these boos have against light in this game? Now this power-up is okay, I suppose, but it's really only useful for these specific circumstances. Plus, the light box only appears in 1 level, so you can't even use it anywhere else in the game. I'm assuming this level is the item's only appearance because it's just not that interesting of a power-up. In fact, it's not even that original either. It's pretty much just the flashlight Luigi uses in the Luigi's Mansion series. The only difference here is that there's no way to turn off your light, which means you're constantly wasting the battery. Yeah, I know there's no battery limit on the light box, but this is not a very good lesson to teach kids about using a flashlight. When you're done using it, you have to turn it off. Man, this game is teaching kids all the wrong lessons, which I do not like one bit. No siree, Bob. Have you ever wanted a Mario power-up that makes you tiny? No? Well, too bad, you're getting it anyway. Take it or leave it. Basically, the mini mushroom makes you shrink way down in size, which allows you to squeeze through narrow pathways and small pipes, become Jesus and walk on water, and even run up walls in the newer games. Now this is all hunky-dory, but this power-up also makes you really vulnerable to pretty much every single enemy. You can't even jump on enemies' heads to defeat them, and most of them require a ground pound to knock out. Much like the aforementioned spin drill, the mini mushroom is really just used as a gimmick for finding secret areas and levels. In fact, in the original New Super Mario Bros., the only way to unlock the secret worlds is to defeat the castle boss as Mini Mario, allowing you to flip the sign that leads to the next world. I guess this power-up could be useful for pseudo-speedrunning, which is what I like to call trying to speedrun a game, but not really. But besides all that, the mini mushroom pretty much makes you a one-hit kill target. All this power-up really does is just make you weaker, and why the heck would you even want that? It's so easy to die with this thing. I mean, who came up with the mini mushroom and thought it was a good idea? That's what I wanna know. Oh wow, what a beautiful balloon that is. I wonder what happens if I touch it. Uh-oh, Mario got fat. So the P-Balloon pretty much turns Mario into the ultimate DeviantArt mascot. In other words, Mario puffs up into a big, thick boy, which allows him to float in the air for a limited time. While you can gain a decent amount of height with this power-up, you're still really vulnerable to enemies in this state. Plus, you move around very slowly, so it's not exactly the most practical flying item. I guess the P-Balloon could be useful for reaching high areas, but let's be real here. There are plenty of other flying items that are so much better, such as the Cape Feather, the Tanuki Suit, and even the Carrot from Mario Land 2. Oh, and don't even get me started on the Tubular level from Super Mario World. The P-Balloon is pretty much required for beating that stage. Yeah, I know it's technically possible to beat Tubular without this power-up, but believe me, it's really difficult to do. I mean, if Sonic the Hedgehog created the worst possible form fandom there is, then this item is solely responsible for at least 20% of that fandom's artwork. It's a perfect example of just how nasty their inflation fetish truly is. Other than that, there really isn't that much else to say about the P-Balloon power-up, except, well, look how fat Mario is! Holy Toledo, this is the third Mario 3D World power-up on this list. I guess this game has quite a few sucky power-ups now, doesn't it? However, I would say the Goomba Mask is easily the suckiest out of all three, no doubt about that. For this power-up, you basically just run around wearing a Goomba mask so Goombas don't recognize you. Yep, that's it. That's the only purpose it serves. I mean, this has to be one of the most useless Mario power-ups to date, given how easy it is to stomp on Goombas to begin with. Plus, you can't even get rid of this thing unless you get hit. You're stuck with it until the Goombas find out who you really are. So let's say you're wearing the Goomba mask, and you start jumping on the Goombas' heads. And then the Goombas are all like, Dad, why the heck are you murdering all my siblings? That's not very nice. Please stop. But suddenly, you end up losing your Goomba mask, which causes the Goombas to be all like, aha, imposter, I knew it. I guess it is pretty funny to make it look like an actual Goomba is jumping on other Goombas' heads, but let's be honest, does this really help you out on your adventure? Yeah, I didn't think so. It's all just for silly laughs, and nothing more. Seriously, when will Mario learn that a Halloween costume does not count as a power-up? Hoo boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now officially reached the bottom of the barrel with these Mario power-ups. There's no turning back now. Like seriously, how can one of the best Mario games have one of the worst Mario power-ups in it? It just doesn't make any sense at all. I'm talking about, of course, the dreaded Spring Mushroom, a power-up that allows you to bounce yourself high up into the air with a well-timed jump. You can even climb up walls with this thing, kind of like the regular wall jump that Mario is famous for. However, simply moving around is so incredibly annoying, you just keep bouncing all over the place. Yeah, I get it, you're a spring, you're supposed to be really bouncy, but this does not make for a good power-up in the slightest. Plus, there's no way to attack your enemies, besides doing a ground pound. The controls take so much time to get used to, and it's very easy to just bounce your way right into a pit. And in some sections, you don't even need the Spring Mushroom. You can just backflip and wall jump your way up some of these higher ledges. I mean, just look at the way Mario is bouncing. His head and his feet are constantly hitting the ground. I'm willing to bet he now has a major concussion and arthritis from using the Spring Mushroom so much. Look, just keep this one thing in mind. Whenever you have to use this power-up, you will die. Like, a lot. Welp, here it is, folks. I saved the absolute worst power-up for last. And how fitting that this power-up is from one of the worst Mario games of all time. I never thought I would return to the lost levels again, but here we are. Actually, you know what? The Poison Mushroom shouldn't even be classified as a power-up. It's more like a power-down. It's basically an enemy you have to avoid. It just kills you right off the bat. Let me ask you something. Do you want a power-up that literally makes you die? Because if you do, then you must really hate yourself. It just boggles my mind that Nintendo would even add this thing to the Mario franchise. The Poison Mushroom was pretty much created just to troll people. In the Lost Levels, it looks very similar to a regular Super Mushroom, so you would think that touching it will make you grow big, but nope, denied. And I hate to say it, but this quote-unquote power-up also reared its ugly head in other Mario games as well, like Mario 3D Land and Mario Maker 2. Now thankfully, in Mario 3D Land, you can just get rid of it with the Fire Flower. Poof, problem solved. But in Mario Maker 2, the Poison Mushroom is basically on more steroids than everyone on Lance Armstrong's bike team. Not only does this beast follow you around wherever you go, but it can also climb up flippin' walls. I mean, what on earth was Nintendo thinking? Who knows what kind of Japanese crackpot they had when they came up with the Poison Mushroom of all things? Overall, this is easily the worst Mario power-up ever created by mankind, and it has absolutely no reason to exist at all. So tell me peeps, what do you think is the worst Mario power-up of all time, and why? Let me know in the comments below. Until then, stay awesome sauce, and remember, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.